I think we've all felt that there's a moment where it's like you don't understand how I'm feeling. You're just repeating a title, and you're just saying like I'm older than you. I'm your mom. I'm your dad. I'm whatever. Or just like I have a certain position that makes me a bit better than you. It's like, it's like I think like a lot of the time it's just like, dude, how are you feeling?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, tell me how you feel and let me help understand what you're going through. And it's like you're not in the, I know it seems like a very frustrating or like crazy place right now, but I think I've been there before too.
Alpha Relations, driving change forward.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Alpha Relations. My name's Luca and I'm here with Alex and Alan.
Hello.
Hello.
And today we have ourselves a special guest. He's got a background in photography, he works in youth work, he works at the CSU, and he has a background in culinary. Welcome, Melvin John Herbella.
Ooh, hello.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you, Luca, for that big introduction.
It sounded like those wrestling matches where you hear like a little bit of the echo. It was nice. I liked it. It was good.
Alex
I
just
appreciate
saved
it.
the echo.
Makes me feel important.
All our guests are important. All right,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming on. To start off all our episodes where our guests usually give them the floor to sort of talk about, your background academically and how you got into the AHSC HR program.
Okay. Do I start? All right. My name is Melvin. I'm currently 29 years old. And how I got into the HAC program was actually right after, the real reason was actually in my family, there's only one person who went to university, and that was my mom. And so I figured more of us should go to university, and I had such a big opportunity here. So I decided to go to university, and I was looking at the programs, and business was fun, but I just didn't like that super corporate profit side of things. And I grew up in an area where a lot of NGOs are, and how they really help boost the community here, and I really love that. So also growing up in a church setting was really cool. And so I found a program that aligned with my values, and I found HSC and university. And it was a good leeway from a program in Dawson called Community Recreation and Leadership Training. And I jumped off from there. And so why not? Like, I got a few credits off, so I could finish university faster. I didn't, but it was a good way to get in there. And I just love everything that you guys teach there in terms of like organizing systems and just general organizations of small groups of people. And I thought that was really powerful. And also, to be quite honest, it was on my bucket list. So, so that's my third reason that I did it for myself.
Very cool.
Did you take a concentration OD?
I actually came into the program before there was any actual concentrations, but I came in with a full specialization. I just wanted to like pour all of my credits into the program and really get all of those crazy soft skills, which I think are super duper important in life. So, and I believe they can take you anywhere. So,
yeah,
Very
that's what we
well
always
said.
preach. That's the best program. So how do you know Alpha? If you give maybe the listeners a little bit of some background of how you know all of us from Alpha.
Well, how I know you guys is actually through Instagram. Well, I know most of you, actually all of you individually first, and I only found out in like, Instagram during my last year in 2019. And I was just like, whoa, you guys are having this crazy initiative to really just get the name out there and really like speak about like what we do, because not many people do know, and I really appreciate what you guys do. So I got the marketing from there, and then I just followed ever since.
That's
Oh, shoot. What?
Oh, what's wrong?
Oh, no, nothing. Okay. It's all good. Ignore me.
So yeah, that's how I found out about Alpha.
Very, very cool. I remember kicking back with Melvin like years ago in our summer course, which was really fun. So shout out to Ron, because that's where we met.
Shout out.
Yeah.
What class was it?
Uh, 232.
Oh.
Yeah, 232. So it was,
Okay.
it was a good class.
You had a
Was
good time?
tasks in small groups. That's what
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you had a good time, and Ron taught that in the summer, 232?
Yes.
Goddamn. Okay.
So
That's
actually,
anything.
it was not long after the 232 class that I had my like photo shoot session with Melvin and my dog. So I'm kind of like segueing
yeah.
into our next topic. But yeah, so I was like, yo, Melvin,
I remember
take
now.
cute pictures
It's
of me and my dog.
such a while ago. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I used to like actually before this, I used to have a small business where I actually gained a lot of like door-to-door selling skills, and I translated that into actually any opportunity I had to network. I actually carried it on a bunch of business cards with my name on it, and even before I had business cards, I used to get a deck of cards and write my name and my number, and just give them out. Oh my
Yes.
God, right now.
I have one. I have one.
Boom.
But yeah, and I was always curious to do different kinds of photography and just test out a variety of things and see which one I really connect with most. At the end of the day, it came down to a bunch of event photography, party photography, and yeah, portraits here and there. But that's only when I really get creative with myself. But if anybody inquires about what they want, I'm more than happy to like help them out. So like, and yeah. If there's something fascinating or a story to tell, I'm more than happy to jump on that project and see what we can do together. So yeah, holla at me one day if anybody's listening to this. If you have a good story to tell or a really fascinating project, please let me know.
Well, there you have it, friends. Hook up for Melvin anytime, or hit up Melvin, I should say. Yeah, okay. But so diving in a little bit more into photography, you already gave us a little bit of what types of photography that you like to do or that you do. But how did you get into photography? Like what's your background in that?
Well, actually, all over, I'm not gonna move my computer because it's pretty stationary. All over my room, there are photos of me back in 2016 with my family. Back then, I was really dirt poor, classic university student, first year, there's like negative money in the bank account, and I had this really crappy like iPhone 5C that took like really mediocre photos, and I was not happy with the quality. And I was like, man, if I want to remember all of these like memories and memories that are happening in these moments, I want to recollect those and experience them again through a nice photo, or at least in better quality that does it justice. So from there, I just started saving a little bit where I could, and I bought myself a nice DSLR. And I think the great thing about it as well was like I noticed like how these pictures and showing them back to my family really helped me connect and get closer with them just by visiting memory lane. And I figured the same thing could happen in any relationship. So I started doing it with my friends, and just even the process of doing a photo shoot with somebody, it can give them so much confidence just because they're not used to people showing them what they look like through their own friend's perspective. And so especially if you have a good eye for things, and you're really like happy with the service and the product that you give them, they're gonna feel like extremely like flattered and confident at the end of the day. And that's one thing I was like, wow, this is really cool. Even if I did this for free, it's such a great time just to go between us.
I can attest.
Me too.
Bumped into this lovely gentleman not too long ago, with my partner. And she just was like, well, you guys, like, we got some good lighting. What, you mind if I just work with something for a quick moment? Like, yeah, sure. You get the camera. Says, okay, let's try this up. Like, look in that direction, sit over there, and he just went to work. So spontaneous, and in the just I think it's so cool how like you just see it right before your eyes, and just like what, I'm not gonna think about it. I'm going to do it. So that's very cool of you, how quick you are, with your environments and just playing with it, so, and thank you for taking some beautiful shots at
Honestly,
the same time.
it's my pleasure, and I'm happy like I was there. And also it's a good photo for me to remember the moment as well. It's like I haven't seen you in how many like years?
Oh dude,
Oh my goodness, way too long.
Yeah, it has been a while.
That was really enjoyable. Although it was only 5 minutes or so, it was really enjoyable.
Yes, sir.
So what would you say is either your favorite or your strongest suit with like photography or just picture taking in general?
Well, what do you mean by strongest suit? Like
what are you really good at? like when it comes to being a photographer, let's say, like what do you think is the thing you're like really good at?
Well, I think the two main things that I'm really good at, I think number one would be at the end of the day, I do think of it as a service more than a product than anything else. And I think that's the big thing that makes it much more valuable to more of my customer base. The people that I interact with is that I make it a service. Because when I'm going to an event, a lot of people who hire like photography businesses, they just send a random guy and they pay him like whatever 15 an hour and they send him in. He doesn't care. He's just there for the hour. So when I'm there at the event, I make sure I'm sort of like the eyes and ears of the event. I do report back and forth to like their event organizer, and I tell him like, "Hey, look, this person's bumping. I think you might want to add him to your VIP list for the next event." Or it's just like, "You're kind of running out of alcohol or food over here, and there's a big group of theirs sitting down. Yeah, I think you should go check up and talk to them." You know, it's small things like that that make your event be good to great. So I figured myself, I was like, I can offer myself not only as taking great pictures, but as an asset to an event, to whatever vibe that it needs. So I think that's my biggest asset, and just like generally being like very kind. I think it's a very overlooked thing. There's like so many shitty businesses out there where they just do whatever they have to do to whatever standard it is. But when you're on the job and you're there and you're there to impress, and you like not only like on the camera, you're off the camera as well. So I think it's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think kindness really goes a long way. And although when we had our little session, like I already knew you, like you just made me feel like very comfortable, and like you were just so nice, like with your directions. It wasn't like anything aggressive, like, oh no, don't do that. It was just like, maybe try this, or, you know, like, so I could tell how clients would gravitate or really enjoy the service that you provide.
Yeah, they're always just suggestions at the end of the day. Yeah.
So you mentioned events. So if you could maybe tell us a little bit about the work that you've done, so specific events or clients that maybe like really stuck with you that you've enjoyed doing.
Oh my.
There must be a lot.
Oh man,
There we
there's so
go.
many. Like it's all started in 2018. I just went literally door to door to every single club and student association that I can think of in my head. And I just scheduled it out of like whenever I had like time off of class, I just went to the spot and just make sure they're in the room and just introduce myself and give them a card. And then actually some of them bit. Big one for me was PSSA, the Political Science Student Association. All the, like the guy was like, he's like, I'll admit, like your photos are not like the super best quality, and like I understand you're starting off, but when I see you at any event, you're always talking to the guests, you're entertaining them, and you're having a good time. And it's quite memorable to have like someone like you versus someone who, like I'm not going to name drop any other businesses because I don't want to talk shit about the other people, obviously. But yeah, they'll send people and they'll just leave right away, and they won't really care about like. I make sure whenever I take any photo, I always show them immediately after to make sure they're happy. Because a lot of times when you go to a party
Very true.
and someone takes a photo of you, like one person is always just like, oh, that's nice. You all know exactly what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta make sure everyone is happy in the photo, and making sure that everyone feels comfortable to tap you on the shoulder at the event. You don't want to seem like they're bothering anybody. So you want them to seem like you're their friend, which you are at the end of the day too. But, that's how it is. And also, like, I started doing Reggies as well. They bit a bit early on. They were like, "Hey, come to the thing," and I really had a good time. I know they have somebody else there now, but best of luck to them. And really, it's been a great run ever since I graduated. So yeah.
Nice.
I love that. And then just lastly, if you could talk to us a little bit about your process, or like even like when you're taking the pictures or editing, like what does your creative mind tell you?
Well, it always stems like my drive in terms of like doing photography and like, well, just general creative sense is very sporadic. So it's just like if there's a moment, that's why at the moment now, if there's ever every time I leave the house, I take my phone, wallet, keys, and then also my camera. I always bring out a camera with me. So if there's any time I'm like, that looks beautiful, I will probably just stop the car and take a photo of it. Or if I have a client, and usually when I'm on the road, there's always going to be an emergency client. Well, back in the day when everything was busy, there was always be like this random client be like, "Hey, can you come in 2 hours? I need something." And I'm like, "I'm down. I'm more down. So let's go." And then just start going from there. But in terms of a process, it's my mentality towards my lifestyle towards it is just get it done as soon as possible, because things just stack up so fast. And like there's a few things, like one, be professional, be kind, and be friendly, and always leave in good relationships at the end of the day. Think about that. It's just like, even though if it doesn't work then, you might be working together in the future. I don't know whether it's be photography or whatever, but who knows. And also, number two is just always do it as fast as you can. Of course, with good quality, do it as best as you can in a reasonable time frame. That's what I suggest. And I think that's literally it's so simple for me. Like, it's just be kind and do it well. And that's all, reasonably
That's
in a
solid
reasonable
advice.
time. That's all it is, and it's just doing consistently. And I think that's number three. That's the biggest one. Just be consistent with what you do. And I think that's how I got my following, and that's how a lot of people have referred me to other people, because I was consistently kind and consistently good. So that's what it is at the end of the day. This works with anything else in life, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and being kind is so big. I forgot which teacher it was, but there was one that always used to preach like, it doesn't, like, no, people don't remember what you're gonna what you say in the moment, but it's in like years from now it's gonna be how you made them feel type thing. So like being so kind is just so big for, years from now too, when people are just gonna remember like, oh yeah, Melvin, he was like such a great guy, he was so kind and all that, so it's really how you make them feel at the end of the day. That's so special.
I remember. It was I'm sorry, the teacher. It was the blind guy. It was the blind teacher. He's amazing though. I do remember his lessons, and I actually do impart that to my events, because a lot of times when people go out to a night, they're going out to have a good time.
Yeah.
And you're there to provide that service to them.
True.
They want to have a good time. You give them a good time. Like taking a photo in itself is sort of like the same experience as buying a drink or whatever it is. It's like you expect the drink to be good. If you want, you expect the photo to be good. Like and everything. It's all
That's a
part
good
of
way
it.
of looking at it. Yeah. And the blind guy would be, our good sir, Dr. Farmer.
Dr. Farmer, yeah. I apologize, Dr. Farmer.
Oh my god, I actually just got it. I heard the blonde guy, not the blind guy.
Who's the blonde guy?
I don't know. That's why I was confused.
We don't have a blonde haired teacher.
Well, now that just
male,
makes this more
do we?
awkward for me.
Was Ola blonde?
Oh no, Ola's a ginger.
No,
I
he's
think.
red-haired.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Shout out to all profs, just
Yeah,
regardless.
all HSC
'Cause
prof.
At one point or
my
another,
God.
they have all sprinkled, those magical words of be kind, and remembering that does leave a big imprint,
100%.
Solid. That's true.
So at the beginning, I mentioned that you were working at the CSU. So for the listeners, would you mind giving them a little bit of what the CSU is and what your role has been as for social media director?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, when I first entered university, I didn't even know what the CSU was. And I feel ashamed because there's just so many acronyms of student associations out there. So for those who don't know who the CSU is, the CSU stands for Concordia Student Union. An actual part of the fee that you pay to go to Concordia goes towards these guys. So your health, some of your health insurance, dental, vision, and actually a bunch of stuff, even medication. It depends what if you're a student at Concordia or even an international student. They're pretty much your representative student union towards Concordia administration. So let's just say you get in trouble with a teacher or any kind of problem, they have a service for rental, for law, for legal information, for anything that you can think of. So they're there to defend you and be your highest representative body at Concordia. So yeah, that's pretty much what the Concordia Student Union is. And I'm currently at the moment there as their social media director. And what I do there is pretty much I take care of the main services, not main services. I guess yes, the main.
We got you. We
I
got
take
you.
care of the main social media at the CSU. I have a partner. I have a colleague there. She takes care of the services side. So I take care of their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter on their main pages, and I make sure everything is consistent between all departments and all information that comes through to be outputted and then fed to the Concordia student body. So that's what I personally do, and then I coordinate with like the comms department team in terms of graphic designers, marketing, and all the other departments who need to put some word out there, and that's what I do.
Nice. What are some like things that you like and dislike about the CSU?
Oh man, to be quite honest, I love everything.
Yeah.
There's I was really nervous when I first came in because I was like, it's CSU, right? So it's very much large part of it is like student politics at the end of the day, and but it's come to my realization that once you're a staff there, you're really like it's like working at the Gouvernement de Canada. You know, you're working for the government. You're just a staff. You're just making sure like you're helping to organize to make sure all the information comes out efficiently and as digestible as possible for everybody, and making sure it's like okay, because at the end of the day, when students come to the CSU, they're looking for a resource. It's like they're looking for help. So it's like it's my job to help them find what they're looking for and how the perfect fit. You know, that's my job at the end of the day. So that's, and if I had to say one like bad thing, I guess it would just be just general like because there's this council representatives and there's executives. They're all doing what they think is best for the student body, and that they're representing the student body there. And when these big meetings, which anybody can participate in, I really do encourage you to. And also, like, they help create policies to help protect everyone. So be part of your student body and make concrete policies and things that you think is fair and how the direction where the schools, some of its funding should go towards. Like, let's just say, you want 2020 to be refunded because it costs too much because you're not actually going to the school. You know, like things like that. And I know they're trying to push for these things and like or whatever belief that you have, go to them. And I think it's a great place to start.
Is that still on the table regarding, you know, a part of 2020 being refunded, even maybe for alumni here?
I don't know, perhaps. If enough students push for it, and because they've honestly tried, they tried hard, but I get it. Everyone is just so overwhelmed with it. It's hard to really garner that attention and momentum. So sometimes it just falls through. And I know the university has been really adamant about like not refunding people, so which really sucks. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm laughing, but I'm laughing out of nervousness. It's a huge entity, so hard to go against that.
All right, so shifting gears a little bit, we're gonna go into a little bit of your culinary background, and just some of your experience that you have in the culinary world.
Okay. Yeah, I know we're just going through every single part of my career path. I am honestly, I don't like to think of myself as a jack of all trades, but it just ended up being that way. But for me, I grew up from a lower middle class family, and I started realizing processed food probably isn't the best for you. You know, you can't eat a cup of ramen, hot dogs every day. So I didn't want to eat like that. So I figured it was like my dad makes delicious Filipino food with vegetables, and I was just like, I really like these experiences where I'm at the family dinner table and we're all eating together. And I also figured it would be a great plan B in case everything fell through. I wanted to be. I also watched way too much Kitchen Nightmares when I was in high school, and so that whole grounder of Gordon Ramsay being like, "It's like you idiot," but also like just the scale of the restaurant was just like fascinating to me. And I figured I was okay at making food at the time. Like I made an egg and I was just like, wow, delicieux. So, and then right after high school, I went to culinary school. I made my plan B in case everything falls through. And from there, I started working at places like the Ribbon Reef, Alcove, which is closed now, unfortunately, because of COVID. I even worked at Agricole. I became a sous chef level cook. I denied sort of like titles because I was like, I just don't feel like I had the palate for certain ethnic, ethnic backgrounds, and I was just like, it's like I feel like it should be an actual person of this background to be an actual chef. Also like representation, I think is very important as well. So if I'm gonna be hungry and I'm gonna eat delicious food, even if it doesn't. And I think that's a big misconception, where you have to have really big ingredients. No,
Not even. No.
not even. You can eat on cheap and really deliciously too.
What's your favorite thing to eat? If you had to compose something right now, really cheap, real simple, what would you do?
Honestly, I'm very much that kind of guy that looks in my fridge and just sees whatever I have, and I make something out of it. I just hate wasting things. So whatever is in the fridge or whatever's in the pantry, I'll just do it. Most of the time, I'll just feel it. I'll actually feel things when I go grocery shopping. I'll just be like, I can taste that. I can taste that. I can taste all the different things whatever's on sale. I'll be like, I'll use this. It's like recently it was papaya season or cantaloupe, so it was like $2 a big thing. So yeah.
What is your favorite thing about cooking?
My favorite thing about cooking is it is exact science, but feeling exact science. That's what it is at the end of the day. You're learning exactly how other things transform each other, like on such a molecular basis, but you can't even explain it. You just know how it would work. And that's to me, that's kind of like magic, and it just like doesn't make any sense that how would like before I used to actually like weight things and like scale them. Now I just eye it. I can literally just sit in another room and just be like, some part of my like my chest is like, okay, it's time to like flip this thing or whatever it is. I can honestly just like screw off and do something else and then come back and be like, okay, this needs to happen. Yeah.
What is one of the hardest things about for anyone that's like going into culinary?
One of the hardest things about culinary, especially if you're going to start working in a kitchen environment, it's one thing to cook for yourself and your family because there is no pressure of time. But if you work in a kitchen, I think the hardest thing is to realize is there is a lot of bullshit. There's a shit ton of people there. Like, yes, they're qualified to make great food, but are they qualified to be a great teammate? That's really debatable. And then it's really up to the chef to have a great organizational skill set and leadership set, which is, I think it's incredibly important. And that's made me realize that like, I don't want to be in that kind of setting because for the most part, like 90% of the chefs that I've met do not have that skill set. They have a great name. The experience in eating there is great, but how the back of the house is run, the systems that are there and maintained is not. It's all at the cost of the employee sanity, and it's not good for employer retainment. So it's really bad. Just prepare to be prepared. Be prepared. You gotta know what you're doing.
That's fair. That's fair.
And once you're out of the kitchen, the culinary school, you're just at the start. You're just at the start line. It's just graduating any program. You're just you just took that program to get to the start line. That's what it is. Yeah.
Nice. Do you see yourself, I mean, knowing the fact that you've worked in, several different kitchens, you got a passion for food here, obviously. Like, do you see yourself in the near future or later on in the future opening up your own little, restaurant, little food gig there? But you at the helm, of course,
No, not that I can see of. It's quite difficult nowadays. I can't, especially with what happened with COVID and all. I just don't see that happening. It's not, maybe something catering. For the most part, I would just do catering on the side.
Nice.
And also just big family meals for my friends and I. That's it. That's all I can think of in the near future, at least. Yeah.
That sounds pretty good. Tying this over into what comes next, which is your career as a youth worker, and I know like you said you don't see yourself as jack of all trades. Melvin, you're kind of a jack of all trades here, but I remember, I think it was summer 2019 and you and I did 3:30 with Diane Fulton, and then on one of the days in the afternoon, as you work at the Westmount YMCA Teen Zone. I remember walking in and you were just cooking up a storm, man. Like I see you there doing your thing, and it came to my understanding, that there was cooking there, as one of the activities, right? And I couldn't help but feel that like Melvin's got his hands, in that, he's probably leading these guys, the youth of that facility, and it's also what that was the case this past year, 2020, over Zoom, correct? Where you were leading certain cooking classes for the teens. Is that right?
Yeah, I did a few virtual cooking programs. I find it's a staple program at the Westmont Teen Zone, and I learned cooking for myself and for my loved ones, and I figured that like I want to build I wanted to build a capacity in them as well. I want them to learn how to feed themselves and the people that they love, and
Right.
and I thought that's very important skill set that I feel like schools don't really teach you, and there comes a lot with that. You're learning it's small little you're learning logistics on a small scale when you grocery shopping. You're learning how to like you organize things, and it's like what goes out first, what comes in, what goes out first, how to storage things. So you're learning a bunch of small logistics, and you're also learning like different like palettes about like your the people that you love. You're learning more about them. So you're also learning key technical skills in terms of, like I said before, you're learning the magic of science without knowing the numbers of it. So that I think that's an important skill set to learn there. And also eating together at the end of the day, it's like it creates for a really good environment for you to just sit down and talk. You can't. It's hard to be angry with somebody that you're eating with. So.
It's like, oh, I'm having eating something delicious. Like, I fucking hate you. It's so good. Like, yeah, it is.
Also, it was a great program that actually a bunch of the teens just admitted to me that they would only come on Fridays because they knew there'd be like a bunch of food there. And I was figuring like, why is it like one of our best days on Fridays? We'd have like 20 kids. They would just come by and just be like, oh, Mel, it's cooking. Let's go. But they would all help. They would all cook and they would all clean. So. And I think that's really cool of them.
That's big, man. And just to explore more into your work there. So how did you come by this position? Like what was there an inspiration behind it? Is something you always wanted to do? Let's hear it.
Well, it all started when I started working in a summer camp, all the way back when it was like I think it was like 2012 or so. It was called Trails End Camp, and it was like a summer job from my. A reference from the Community Recreation Leadership Training Program, and it's a nonprofit that runs summer camps for kids who are more youth at risk. And then from there, I ended up loving the fact that I was just like helping these kids and having just a great summer and making something memorable and helping them find what they like and making friends. And I was like, that's super cool. I wish I had this as a kid. And then from there, I did. Because of the program I started doing and this love from summer camp, I started doing an internship at the YMCA NDG. And I started running a small cooking program because I already had a culinary background there. And I just ran it as a culinary program because I just wanted to show off my cooking. And at that point, that was a different point in my life. And then slowly it started turning into, it's like, oh, I'm building capacity. And I think that's a really cool thing. And it's like, not only that you're learning these skills, you're also learning other little things about yourself and others and how you treat them. And then I sort of slowly transitioned out of cooking and started being more into youth work. And I started subbing there. And then once an opening came at Westmount, they referred me to go there. And I was like, absolutely. I love it. And the kids there are phenomenal. They're amazing. And I'm really proud of them. And now just about to finish another chapter in my life. I guess we'll call this one the end of COVID and and graduation of university and to the next step.
That's awesome, man. I love that. And you're absolutely right. That particular center, I think I've mentioned it, I volunteered there. That's where I met Melvin back in 2019 or 2018. I think you were subbing one time. But then, funny enough, I'm pretty sure like you forgot because that's where we met, and then I
Oh yeah,
kind
I
of
didn't know who
re-met
you were.
you.
I was like, dude, who is this guy? Is this another volunteer? That I no, that's not good enough. Sometimes we have some weird people come in, and
Oh, I bet, man.
it's like I'm like, this guy can't volunteer here anymore.
He's got a beard. He's 6'1".
Can't let the kids swear like that. No.
But it's funny. It's like a volunteer, and then I remember like, oh shit! Like I remember seeing you like in the hallway at HSC or something like that. And like, oh hey Melvin, it's good to see you. And you're like, yeah, what's up, my guy? And I'm thinking, I don't think he remembers me.
I don't
My guy.
What's up, my guy?
Buddy, we all remember how we want to. Okay, just let me tell the story. And then we like, I think we realized, I think you realized rather, okay, when I walked in 2019, knowing that we were already taking 330, I'd be like, oh shit, Alan, you volunteer here. I'm like, yeah, I met you last year. I'm like, fuck.
Oh man, it's because you meet so many faces in university.
You do.
It's very hard to make it a personable experience and a memorable experience. I'm not saying you're not memorable. It's just I didn't have the opportunity
I hear
really
you,
to
man.
get to know you. That's a huge thing. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
apologize.
don't be. When this whole thing's done, we'll all get together, sing kumbaya, check in with each other, right? And have a great time,
Cool.
and you take the photo to remember it. But just moving on, just currently knowing that this past year was, it was tough on all of us, and in particular, youth, to several extensions. I just want to explore with you, just to go into some of the challenges, that are currently facing youth, especially in regards to COVID, and just to hear what you've witnessed, and in the greater scale, and going deeper down to some of the more nitty gritty issues, and I guess, the type of interventions and how you've basically helped to facilitate a supportive environment for them, knowing that times have been tough.
Well, it's definitely one of the big things I think we all are experiencing. I think it's a big thing to remember that, like, with youth, especially between the ages of just general adolescence, every emotion is amplified. I find they may seem exaggerated to us, but they're real. They're real to them. Those feelings are very powerful, and it can lead you to some very, very dark places, especially if you feel alone and isolated, and you're forced to be with a family that you don't want. And the teen zone was a second home for them to really get away from all of that. It's like sometimes it's like really one of those social support systems that really helps them go through the day, and they would rather stay there till 8 o'clock versus than staying and milking every single second. I'm like, bro, it's like 8:01, you have to get out. But it's definitely like isolation and trouble at home. Especially if they don't have a good relationship with their parents or so. I'm not gonna drop any names or anything like that. Absolutely not. But it's easy to get lost in that, and there's a lot of time. I will admit, there are a lot of tempting things out there in the world. Like, there's a lot of things that you can abuse and then become addicted to. You can develop certain behaviors that are not really like healthy for you. So just being there and checking in on them, I think it's a very, 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 very powerful thing, and very useful social service that I think there should be more invested in. It's my 2 cents of things.
Yeah, no, that's great, and I could feel that just coming off of you, like, not that you wouldn't care, but like you have that, and it's like a very warm feeling, and I've seen you interact with them, and it's so lovely to see that they look up to you, that they're genuinely happy, to be where they are, and that they understand, and they most definitely and probably feel that this is a good place. I'm here. I can be me. And Melvin's there. He's looking after us. Of course. They get out of hand, like you tell him or whatnot as well. But when discussing, those such issues like the ones that you just mentioned, what's important to keep in mind, I mean, for anyone, whether you are a youth worker, a parent, or someone that just recognizes a teen, or rather adolescents, youth in distress, what's important to keep in mind for those discussions?
I mean, just because you're an adult or you're older than them doesn't make you any better than them. I think there's a lot of times where it's like you should respect your elders, That's always a big saying. But a lot of times I think we've all felt that there's a moment where it's like you don't understand how I'm feeling. You're just repeating a title, and you're just saying like I'm older than you. I'm your mom. I'm your dad. I'm whatever. Or just like I have a certain position that makes me a bit better than you. It's like, it's like I think like a lot of the time it's just like, dude, how are you feeling?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, tell me how you feel and let me help understand what you're going through. And it's like you're not in the, I know it seems like a very frustrating or like crazy place right now, but I think I've been there before too. And they're gonna be like, for real? And then that's a key turning point.
Yeah.
And it's like small little pivots like that. And just small moments to gain their trust, and not in an necessary. I wouldn't even say necessary. Not in any manipulative way, but you just want to create a bridge of understanding because you want to develop that relationship. A lot of times, like kids just don't have a hard time developing relationships, and it's completely understandable. Like the whole point of like social media is just connect with people, and that's where are they spending all their time there. So coming into the center in person, it's just like. It's like that, but you're actually making a connection. Even if I'm like, although I am paid to be there, it is like I do enjoy my time, and I generally like do care. And I tell them like, you can definitely reach me on Instagram. It's just like I'm here to talk any time of the day, even 3 a.m. whatever it is. You let me know what's up. And so just knowing that someone's there for you, even just one person, I think they'll realize that, and it's like there's hope.
Yeah. No, I think that's very key, and it's very supportive of you to have that. In regards to support, it's very important, to hear that, those very, the fragile perspectives of where they're all coming from. But, just to, look on the more plus side, what's, an everyday, look like for you there? What type of environment do you try to facilitate for them?
Well, pretty much I try to recreate a home setting. That's pretty much what I try to do as best I can. Is you take like Maslow's needs, take care of all of those first, and then you want to build an environment for them to self-actualize. That's primarily what you do there. What I try to cater to. So I try to figure out what they like and what they want to do, and I help them achieve that. And that's pretty much I try to do when I'm there. If it's for my kids, personally at the moment, they're very low maintenance. So just getting away, and even a small escapism is a good environment for them. Of course, it's not a permanent solution, but sometimes you gotta have temporary solutions for long-term solutions. So until you get you can figure out the right answer for them. It's a case by case situation.
Most definitely. Yeah. Oh, I like that. Do you see yourself, pursuing, further studies or wanting to do more work in youth work in that realm later on?
Definitely. I had a dream before, was to open up my own community center.
Oh.
Well,
let's hear this dream.
I wanted to have a network of actually a network of like sort of like YMCA Kona Fitnesses kind of thing throughout the Philippines.
Nice.
So it's like every single village, every single borough has sort of like an Econo Fitness kind of thing.
Nice.
Where you just show up, you have like a low fee membership, and you can just do it. You can just go, and that's it. It's like you have all your members, you have all your programs. It's like leisure is a place where you find all your values. So what do you do outside of work is what really like helps you find who you are and how you spend that time. And I think that's a hard thing for people in our program is because like all of our it's like I know there's like leisure therapy, like therapeutic recreation and things like that. It's a very broad spectrum, but you're helping people build values and that's where the therapy comes from, and emphasizing how important that is for them. And where these kids come, that is their leisure time. That is the
That's very
time they
true.
choose to be free, and you should enable that environment to feel free. So there we go.
Dude, that's a sick dream.
Mhm.
Oh, what's the next step in making it happen?
At the moment, just getting through this COVID. I know I have to leave the CSU soon because I'm no longer an undergrad student there at Concordia. So definitely the next step is to find a more permanent job in financial safety, and as well as yeah, that's pretty much my next step, and then we'll figure things out from there.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. That is a great dream, though, you know, and that's big, you know. We had Ron on, you know, for one of our episodes, and he said something that I think most of us, you know, can, you know, feel inspired, you know, or feel like, you know what, that makes sense. And he goes, if you can, you know, see your whole dream, you know, then, you know, it's not big enough, you know, or wait, I'm fucking it up. Luca, how did it go?
I thought you had it actually pretty solid.
That's how it went. No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
I think you got it spot on.
I think so. All right. Okay, Ron, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, you know, but like I wasn't entirely sure. But long story short,
it's along those lines.
it's along those lines, you know. But that's huge, man. That's huge, you know. The fact that you see this, you know, back, you know, with your in the Philippines, you know, to implement such a program, and you see not one or two, you see all communities here, you know, and I think that's so fantastic, you know, because health, you know, fitness is a big part of one's health, mental health, their well-being, you know, and the leisure, of course, too, you know, picking up on that. And implementing, you know, all those other, you know, community, you know, based initiatives, you know, and tying that together. Wow. You know, so I see that. I see that for you. And I see that, like, exploding one day.
And
So,
that's the beautiful thing about a community center, is that a community center is how it gets all its programming is based on the needs and wants of that community.
that's
Yeah.
right.
So every center is completely different, and that's the thing I appreciate about the YMCA, is that every single YMCA has different programming for their needs, for their
Yes.
community's needs, and also it's kind of saturated in Montreal because there's so many community centers everywhere. Originally, I wanted to do it in Montreal, but it's way too many of them already. So yeah, it's too much competition, and then sometimes with too much competition, it takes away. You know.
Fair enough. I hear that. But like, you already have an ideal location where you want to work. Do you? I mean, before COVID, I imagine you have family back in the Philippines. Or did you visit them regularly, or?
Oh, last time I went was in 2016.
Okay.
It was a while ago. We usually try to go back every 5 years or so. I think we're due time, but you know, with COVID going on, I don't think it's the safest thing. So.
That's a good idea, man. Keep it up. You know. And once it explodes, we'll have you back, man. You know, you tell us about it.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to picture at the moment, but we'll see how it goes.
No worries. I do have one more question for you, my good sir.
Yeah.
Are you ready? It's a big one. Oh, it's gonna blow your pants right off.
Oh my god.
Cool.
Oh, I like that show. Perfect. Okay, so no, but like in all seriousness, you know, so seeing that you're a person of many talents, you know, and you are a very talented person, Melvin, what would you recommend to those out there in regards to balancing several careers, or, you know, especially if you're driven by all of these passions, you know? So where is that, you know, act where you are able to juggling so many things at the same time?
Well, it's for me is definitely like the biggest takeaway from doing a bunch of things is having like a solid plan. Make a solid plan, whether it's 5 years, 3 years, 1 years. I think you should make a plan for a 5 year, 3 year, even 10 years down the road. And of course, things are never going to go as you plan, but it's a good guideline. It's a good guideline for you to not get lost, and it helps develop a plan that helps you make good decisions. That's the whole point of making a plan, is to help guide your decision making. And if you have a good plan and you know what you want, that's why I really do admire people who travel. It's because when they set on traveling, every decision that they make, and especially if somebody who has a goal, you can always understand their way of thinking. And it's like, oh wait, I would invite them, but I would invite them to go out tonight, but it's like I know they're trying to save up to go travel. So if we're gonna do something with them, let's do something low key.
Yeah.
And that's not too expensive, or whatever it is. Or we're not gonna smoke a J here because I know he doesn't. He works at a center where he gets over addiction, so we're not gonna smoke. It's whatever. So just have a good plan. And honestly, Google Calendar is your best friend. And make a to-do list every day and do the most important things that you can every day. Yeah. Have a really powerful morning routine.
That's perfect, man. Have a plan. I like that. And have a plan on top of a plan.
You should have a plan every day.
Fair enough. You heard it from Melvin. All right. So I don't know if you heard a few of the episodes, but we do have a little tradition here at the end of every single one where we kindly ask our guests to say a few magic words. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
All right. You want me to say it? I'll say it right now.
Let's go.
When you're ready.
We are Alpha Relations, driving change forward.
Amazing.
That's fantastic. Melvin, thank you for coming on. I know when I originally said, yo, you want to come on, be a guest? I'm like, what are we going to talk about? I'm just like, don't you worry. I got a plan down. And I wanted to have you on because, because you're a very creative person, and you're always doing something, and you are doing a lot, within several different types of communities, and that's what it's about, you implementing and being a part of many different processes, different systems, as we all are familiar with that, and that's a lot of change happening, and that's all we're here to do, just to spread that message and to spread your good work. So, my good sir, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, big boy Luca, go for it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The best part.
That was a great episode. I think by exploring all the different avenues, it gave I think there's a little bit, or there's always something to take from every avenue that we got to explore. I think the listeners are going to have some piece of advice or something from all the different paths we went through and be able to take something with them. So that was really great and powerful, I thought. Thank you once again, Melvin, for coming on the podcast. Like always.
Thank you.
If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications. If you're on our platforms, hit that follow button. Thank you all for listening. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.